So I'm real familiar with that era. In addition to their covert nature, a feature common to several modification schemes is their ability to affect the Earth as a whole. These are global wars now, from computer facilities and antennas that can touch any other place on this planet. The environment knows no political boundaries. It is independent of the institutions based on geography, and the effects of modification can be projected from any one point to any other on the Earth. There are HAARP facilities at Gakona, Alaska, U.S., Newfoundland, Russia, Tromsø, Norway, British, Cyprus, British, Dushanbe in Tajikistan, I don't know who that is, Australia, British, Antarctica, joint, Brazil, probably American, Chile, and Peru, those are probably American, and Arecibo in Puerto Rico. When the Haiti earthquake happened, I said, I bet you this is HAARP, and I started digging. The Eurasian Mineral Company, mining company, had bought 25% of the mineral rights to Haiti 6 months before the earthquake. In December, before the earthquake, the World Bank met to consider the portfolio of the Eurasian Mining Company, who had applied to the World Bank for funds to develop mining in Haiti. The World Bank Committee met the day before the earthquake, but they did not vote to fund it. The earthquake happened the next day, and the day after that, the committee met again and voted to fund it. When I investigated the funds that were donated for mineral exploration and assessment of how much they could get out of each mineral body in the Dominican Republic, that mineral belt extended into Haiti. I discovered that the Rockefellers, the British Mining Company interests, and Canadians were all invested in exploration and assessment of the mineral belt in the Dominican Republic that extended into Haiti. So they had a good idea. They were assessing how much money they could get out of each volcano. These are volcanoes that formed on the seafloor that were uplifted with the island to make the island of Haiti. So that's ancient seafloor. And so they pretty much calculate, they know how much they're going to get. They apply to the World Bank, knowing how much their profits will be. And they're usually pretty accurate because now they can map from satellites 100%, just 100% perfect assessment and finding exploration results. And they can also scan the ore bodies from space with a 30-watt signal. We wouldn't even buy a light bulb with 30 watts. And they can map the grade of the ore across the whole ore body. Bechtel has done it for decades from space. So they pretty much have probably cherry-picked a lot of the mineral sources, but they're also targeting Central Asian countries that are former colonies or parts of the Soviet Union. And these countries now have sort of collapsed without the Soviet support, and they're sort of, the infrastructures are decaying and education is dying, and so they're easy meat for transnational mining companies to go in and just strip mine without any environmental laws and totally poison and leave the environment wrecked in other weaker countries. The environment knows no political boundaries. It is independent of the institutions based on geography, and the effects of modification can be projected from any one point to any other on the Earth. Because environmental modification may be a dominant feature of future world decades, there is concern that this incipient technology is in total conflict with many of the traditional geographical and political units and concepts. This is a completely new form of war. Political, legal, economic, and sociological consequences of deliberate environmental modification, even for peaceful purposes, will be of such complexity that perhaps all our present involvements in nuclear affairs will seem simple. Our understanding of basic environmental science and technology is primitive, and I want to really emphasize that. They really don't know what they're doing. But still more primitive are our notions of the proper political forms and procedures to deal with the consequences of modification. All experience shows that less significant technological changes than environmental control finally transform political and social relationships. Experience also shows that these transformations are not necessarily predictable, and certainly this one isn't, releasing this huge amount of radiation into the environment. And that guesses we might make now based on precedent are likely to be quite wrong. It would seem, however, that these non-scientific, non-technological problems are of such magnitude that they deserve consideration by serious students throughout the world if society is to live comfortably in a controlled environment. So here he is, the developer of tectonic warfare, and he's warning people that this may not be such a good idea. Now, after reading that and understanding what is behind HAARP or how it might be applied, let's look at this disaster and maybe figure out some of the economic benefits behind executing a disaster like this. The Western North America, Canada, the United States, and Mexico is the food basket for North America. And what basically they've done is to contaminate it permanently with low-level radiation, which is contaminating the water, the livestock, the dairy products, the food, the air, even our gardens, our shoes, our umbrellas. And you should not go out in the rain for at least a year without full protective covering, including gloves, because this stuff goes right through your skin into your tissues and blood. And you should also leave the umbrella and your shoes or your rubber boots outside so that you don't track it all over your house and contaminate your house. In Tokyo already, there is yellow rain being reported. Yellow rain was reported after Chernobyl. It's the iodine 131 in the rain that is staining it yellow. And with that iodine is, remember, 13 other radioactive isotopes that are in that raindrop, in that puddle, in that stream running down the road. So you need to be very, very careful. And you should also avoid dairy products. Dairy products and drinking water are the main pathways for radiation into your body. It's just so horrible. It's really, I've been in such a shock since March 11th. I've been just stunned, terrified, because I knew what was happening to North America. And I'm really sorry to tell you this today, but I think people should know. I mean, I wanted to know, as horrible as it is, but at least people can take iodine. Here is some seaweed that one of the visitors today brought so that you could see it. You can go to health food stores and buy kelp powder. You just put like a half a teaspoon in water every day and drink it. You can get tincture of iodine for $2.50 at a drugstore, and you just rub it on your skin here over your thyroid. Your thyroid is between your Adam's apple and your collarbone, and it wraps around the esophagus. This is the most important thing to protect, and you have to do it for the next year. This stuff is going to continue to be coming across the ocean until they really stop it and cover it and entomb it. The half-life of iodine-131 is 8.5 days. It takes 10 half-lives for the radiation to diminish. So that's 85 days before it's diminished. And you want to flood your thyroid and your body with iodine so that it prevents uptake of the radioactive iodine. When you damage the thyroid, that is causing obesity, immune system damage, all kinds of problems in the body. The thyroid signals the mother's brain to control development of the brain in the developing baby. So it's pregnant women and babies and children and the elderly who are the most damaged, because people in their early and middle years are pretty healthy, they have functioning immune systems, and they're more able to survive the damage from the free radicals that are released by the radiation particles. So please go, everyone, today, and be sure you take iodine every day for at least the next 6 months or year. It may save your life. And remember the epidemic of thyroid cancer during and after bomb testing? We don't need to have that happen to us. We can prevent it. A lot of information on the internet. Now, not only are the food baskets poisoned with radiation, but it's going to bankrupt the farmers, the Japanese farmers and the farmers in the West. And that allows the international bankers to buy that farmland, they own a lot of it already, and to begin farming that radioactive farmland and feeding us food products that are contaminated. But they also are growing food in India. The Rothschilds have bought up huge amounts of farmland. Monsanto is also there with modified food. And the Rothschilds planned a long time ago to bankrupt the Japanese and European farmers so they could be the ones to sell them food. Why are they doing this? It's because